So, welcome to BFS Wargaming's Patrick here for another video. So we're going to look at the Warhammer 40k data sheets for the new Slaanesh models. So, we have a data sheet for the Keeper of Secrets. He has a tiered movement because he's got 16 wounds now. So, his movement's tiered. He's got 14-inch movement, 11 inches and 7 inches at his lowest. And then he has attacks 6 at his highest, 5, then 4. And then one of his weapons is also on the tier damage table. And that is 4, 3, then 2. So you basically get 4 extra attacks, 3 extra attacks, or 2 extra attacks. So we'll go into the data sheet. So he's got 2 up weapon skill and ballistic skill, 6 strength, 7 toughness, 16 wounds. We talked about the attacks on the damage table, so 6 at top bracket. He has a leadership of 10 and a 6 up save. Now, it doesn't say anything about invulnerabilities on here or anything like that. But we do have the snapping claws, which is strength user, -3, 3 damage. And that's the one where you can get extra attacks. And also, if you wound on a 6, it's -4 AP instead of -3. Which I don't think is massive. I think they might as well just made it -5 just to make sure that any 2+ models would then be off. But such is life. I feel like it's a bit of a pointless extra AP. They could have made it a mortal wound or something cool. Then you've got the Witseer sword, which is +2 strength, so it'll be at strength 8, -3, 3 damage. So you subtract 1 from hits for attacks made by a model that has taken any wounds from that sword. Same as the other one. So pretty cool. But what is also cool is that there are a number of new war gear options in the kit. So you get a living whip, sinistrous hand, ritual knife, and shining aegis. I'm feeling like shining aegis is going to be some sort of invuln. I'm hoping it's going to be a 4-up invuln, because otherwise I feel like if he only has the normal 5-up invuln, he's not going to be very durable. And I know that Slaanesh aren't meant to be durable, but he'll disappear very quick if that's the case. But there's always the case where you could take 3 of them, so if they're cheap enough, that might be an option. So it has Sinistrous Hand on here. It has actually what that does. It's the only other warrior option that it shows. It says, if this model has a Sinistrous Hand, it regains D3 lost wounds at the end of the fight phase if any enemy models, other than a vehicle, were slain by wounds inflicted by this model's attacks during that fight phase. So you've only got to take out 1 infantry model and you can get D3 wounds back at the end of the fight phase, which is pretty cool, because then you get them wounds back before your opponent has their turn, which could really, you might need that durability. Or you will need that durability. So then it goes on to Shalaxi Hellbane. Doesn't actually have the data sheet, but I'm assuming it's pretty similar to the Keeper of Secrets. But it does show one of her weapons, or his weapons, Shalaxi's weapons, which is called Soul Piercer, which is the spear, which is ×2 strength. So if it is the same as the Keeper of Secrets, it will be strength 12, -4, d6 damage. Now, on a roll of a 6 to wound, against a character, if this is against a character, so for instance, if it was a knight character, let's say, or any character, but I'm just thinking in my head a knight character would be very, very good against it, will be a straight 6 damage. So you won't have to roll a d6, it will be straight 6, which is very, very cool. Then you have, it has Mesmerizing Aura, which I think the old Keeper 6 had, which was subtract 1 from hit rolls, attacks made with this melee weapon that target this model. But it also has Cloak of Constriction. This is for Shalaxi. I'm not sure if it's any other that have it, which is subtract 1 from wound rolls for attacks made with this melee weapon. With any melee weapons against this model, which is very, very cool. So not only is it going to be toughness 7, well, I think, you're then having to do a -1 on your wound roll. So you could be wounding it on 4, you were wounding it on 3s, then you wounding it on 4s, or you were wounding it on 5s and 6s, and then you're wounding it on 6s, So that's pretty cool. Then it says, the Demon Prince and the Herald. So Sileske, the Vengeful Alliance. this is probably my favourite thing so far. I've had a little read of this and it sounds amazing. So basically what you can do, I'll go through the data sheet first. So it's movement 9 inches, 2 up weapon skill, 2 up ballistic skill, strength 4. Now you're thinking that's very low strength for a Demon Prince. And it's toughness 6, which is the same as most Demon Princes. 8 wounds, 8 attacks. Leadership 9 and a 4 up save, so 1 less on the save. But 8 attacks. Now, what's great about this is it fights twice. So the first time you fight, you can either choose the Axe of Dominion, which is +3 strength, -3, 3 damage. Or you can choose the Scourging Whip, which is strength user, -1, 1 damage, but you can make D3 attacks for every attack. So then you get 8 D3 attacks. So this is going to be a massive infantry clearer. And then you've got the axe, which is going to be your vehicle. Now, normally with the axe, it would be 7, but because there's a herald on the Demon Prince, you do get +1 strength. It actually says it here, you get +1 strength. Not only that, you'll be re-rolling 1s from the Demon Prince. So you'll get hitting on 2s, re-rolling 1s, and then you'll be strength 8, -3, 3 damage, or strength 5, -1, 1 damage, with D3 attacks. And you can fight once with one of the weapons, then you can consolidate and then fight again with the other weapon. But obviously you can only fight again if you've declared the other unit in the charge, or if you're still in combat with a unit that you haven't killed. It's really, really strong. I think it's really good. Doesn't say if he has any psychic powers. You'd have thought with a Herald and a Demon Prince, you should get 2 psychic powers with it. 2 casts. So it'll be and 2 denies, really. So it'll be very interesting to see what you get with that. Now, the Contorted Epitome, which is the sort of mirror-y looking thing with the 2 demonettes on it, looks pretty cool. And basically, this is a psychic powerhouse, able to manifest and deny 2 psychic powers a turn, all the while gaining a bonus from its Gift of Power ability whenever it does so. So Gift of Power, you add 1 to psychic and deny the witch test taken for this model. So, you're smiting on 4s, denying the witch on equal to rather than more than. Really, really good. What is my favourite thing about it is Swallow Energy. So basically, what you do is you roll a d6, and on a 2+, if you get any mortal wounds, on a 2+, you ignore that wound. Really, really good. Really like that. Makes it quite durable, obviously against mortal wounds. Just a nice little, you've got to take it out with normal weapons and stuff. You can't psych it off the table, really. Or you could, but you'd be hard-pressed. And then Horrible Fascination. If an enemy unit within 6 inches of any models with this ability is chosen to fall back, your opponent must first roll 3d6. The unit can only fall back if the total is less than the highest leadership characteristic in that unit. So, for instance, if it's Space Marines, leadership 8, on 3d6, they've got to roll under an 8. So if they roll an 8, you can't fall back. If they roll, a 10, they can't fall back. They've got to roll a 7 or below, which on 3d6, could be quite hard. And that's, if you're looking at stuff like Astra Militarum with leadership, a lot of 6s and stuff like that, they're going to find it very hard to fall back out of combat against that. It doesn't say what it's like in combat, doesn't have a data sheet for it in terms of the movement, in terms of anything else. Just sort of tells you about the powers. So they've just given you, as GW do, a snippet from each model just to wet the whistle. And I'm really excited. I'm excited to see the rest of what all of these models can do. They haven't included the mask, so I'm assuming the mask is going to stay the same. They're not changing the data sheet for the mask. But yeah, really, really nice. Loving the rules. I'm loving some of the how offensive some of this stuff looks. It's a bit more cannon-y rather than just being glass. But yeah, really excited about this. And let me know what you think, guys. What do you think? Are you worried about anything? Do you think stuff is too strong? Do you think it's not strong enough? I think Slaanesh as a pure Slaanesh army are relatively weak. But I mean, if you're looking at some of this stuff, I mean, like that Demon Prince to bring in against, you know, in a demon list, like he could be really, really devastating. I'm already thinking in my head about summoning. You know, you got the Infernal Rapturous, which is adding to summoning. You could summon in your Keeper of Secrets to keep it safe and things like that. So yeah, I'm excited. I think there's some really interesting things you can do. And I want to really try and play a pure Slaanesh army and really try and make a pure Slaanesh army good. And what I mean by good is, you know, be able to compete on the tabletop and maybe even take it to tournaments. But we'll see. We'll see how the rules go. But thanks for listening, and we'll see you in the next one.